Hello, good day everyone. So we are now redound to the final coverage. So our first topic in the finals is the nature of a social man. So we are going to discuss about how man defined in a different perspective and in different disciplines and what's their role. Okay, so what is really meant by man? Okay, so here before perceiving of a man as a subject, we have to see first man as an object. So what does it mean? What is the difference between man as a subject and man as an object? Okay, so when we say man as an object, we talk about the person itself, the physical body of a person, the person to be observed. Okay, so when we say man as a subject, we talk about its experiences, kung ano ang ginawa, ginagawa, at gagawin pa lamang. So in short, the action of a man towards his life. So how about in the perspective of the sociologists? Man and a woman, biological terms to describe the sex. So male and female, it is socially constructed. So in layman's term, a man and a woman, we call it as a sex. And male and female, we call it as a gender. So what is the difference between the two, the gender and the sex? Okay, so sinasabi ng mga sociologists na ang gender, it is socially constructed. Okay, it's up to you on how you conceptualize or on how you show yourself to the society, to the eyes of the people. Okay, so in general terms, sex refers to the biological differences between males and females, such as the genitalia and the genetic differences. Okay, so in layman's term, pag lalaki ka, meron kang penis. Kapag babae ka, meron kang vagina. Okay, that is what they define about the biological terms. Okay, so when we say gender, it's more difficult to define. Why? Okay, because it can refer to the role of a male or a female in society, okay, known as the gender role, okay, or an individual concept of themselves or gender identity. So in the previous traditional or the primitive definitions about the gender, okay, meron lang tayong dalawa, a male at saka female. Pero as time passes by, as we step up in the threshold of 21st century, okay, pumasok na ngayon itong mga LGBTQ community. Okay, so when we say gender, it talks about the male, talks about the female, lesbian, gay, transgender, queer, and so on and so forth. Okay, so man in a philosophy naman, from Latin word humanitas, the concept of man means human nature or the general culture of the mind. Okay, so when we say human nature, it refers to the characteristics of a mankind. What does it mean? Okay, this means of ways of a thinking, feeling, acting, which humans have naturally innate. Okay, so bakit nga ba kailangan pa natin pag-aralan ang human nature ng tao? Okay, so learning about human nature, okay, it can help us make a better choices. Okay, so out of the futuristic concepts or ideal thing is nakakapag-come up tayo ng good choices, good decisions, and it could give us more freedom to choose in the first place. So it, and also to better know how to handle difficult things in life. Okay? Kaya sabi nga nila ni Aristotle na ang tao ay ibang-iba. Ano ba yung pagkakaiba ng tao sa mga hayop? It is our rational thinking. It is on our human natural reasons. Okay, yung pag-iisip natin. Man in political science naman, okay? Man is a political animal. This was the famous line of Aristotle. So what does it mean by political animal? Okay, so kung iisipin nyo, which is true naman na we are living in the world, kontrolado tayo ng laws, kontrolado pa tayo ng mga rules, mga authorities, mga higher ups, leaders natin. Okay, so in Aristotle means that man lives in a more polis. Okay, so man becomes man among others, living in the society governed by laws and customs. Okay, so the man develop his potential and realize its natural end in the social context. This is the good life. Okay, kung maalala nyo yung sinasabi ni Aristotle na kung happy ka, kung masaya ka sa ginagawa mo, then you are doing good. Okay? You are doing good and you are achieving the eudaimonia. Okay? Yung eudaimonia, it refers to the happiness. Okay? And then also the good life. This is not an easy life, but a life of a full of virtue is reflected in the highest good. What does highest good means? Yung eudaimonia na sinasabi ni Aristotle na happiness. So, every one of us, sinasabi pa niya, is every one of us has an end goal. Telos. Okay? Meron tayo kanya-kanyang goal in life. So, despite on going through with that goal, we face, okay, we suffer from difficulties, we suffer from challenges in life, but we need to think on the goodness of it, the goodness decisions we do in our life in order for us to achieve the eudaimonia. Okay, so we have also the universal concepts or definitions of a man. So man as a rational animal or even an embodied consciousness. When we say rational animal is kaya nating makapag-isip, okay? Kaya nating makipag-communicate, okay? And even embodied consciousness. Alam na natin kung anong nangyayari sa mundo and we respond on it. Nagre-respond tayo sa mga nangyayari sa mundo. Just like a pandemic, di ba? We do some solutions in order to stop or avoid and avoid the viruses, di ba? So the genus, sabi ni Aristotle na ang tao ay animal. He considered man as an animal. Okay, so the genus of a man is animal and the specific difference is rational. So by the use of the universal concepts or the definitions which manifest the comprehension of an idea, we therefore said that man is a rational animal. Okay? So next is love and justice in social philosophy. So justice is the true foundation of any social order. Kahit saan ka mang magpunta sa mundo, there is a justice. If there's a rule, if there's a law, there is justice. Okay? So what lies beyond that justice? Okay? So yun yung aalamin natin. Okay? So it is often stated that love is the maximum of justice and justice is the minimum of love. What does it mean? Okay? I'll give you just a situation. A 93 years old was jailed dahil hindi siya nagbabayad ng renta ng bahay. So what would be your moral dilemma? So it's up to you what could be your moral dilemma. It's up to you what could be your decisions on in handling these situations. Okay, kasi kung sa akin, if we follow justice, if we follow law, I should say, if we follow law, makukulong yung matanda dahil may nilabag siyang law. Pero if we follow, kung may justice naman, okay, there is a exemption, then dadalhin na lang si lolo sa mga organizations na makakatulong sa kanya, hindi na siya ipapakulong. Okay, so that's my moral dilemma. So to do justice is to live in the light of truth. Okay, so indeed, many people have died defending and fighting for justice. So love, but no one has died defending the equation 8 times 8 equals 64. It's very metaphorical, di ba? So, very metaphorical yung sinabi niya dito na many people have died defending, fighting for justice, and loved, but no one has died defending the equation 8 times 8 equals 64. So what does it mean? Okay? Hindi naman makikipaglaban ang mga tao, hindi naman makikibaka ang mga ibang tao kung hindi totoo ang kanilang pinaglalaban. Okay? Gaya na lang sa pag-ibig. Ipinaglalaban mo yung isang lalaki dahil mahal mo. Hindi mo naman niya ipaglalaban kung hindi mo siya mahal. Ganon din sa buhay. Okay? Kung alam mong ikaw ang tama, ipaglalaban mo. You seek for the justice. Okay? You seek for the justice. Hindi ka titigil hanggat hindi mo nakakamit ang justice. Ayun ang gustong sabihin niya. That's why they define that justice is to live in the light of truth. Okay? So justice means to stand witness to it. Okay? So no true social order can stand if establish itself in a total deception and manipulation of people's minds and unjust social order. Okay? So next is we have the phenomenological ethics. It is the primarily axiological or value ethics oriented. So the branch of philosophy, okay, dealing with the nature of value and the types of a value, as in morals and aesthetics, and also with the religions and metaphysics, it is primarily called axiological, axiology. Okay? So, axiology, it is in a Greek word, means axios, means worthy. Okay? Logos means science. Alam niyo naman na yun. Always logos means science. Okay? So, also called the theory of value, the philosophical study of goodness or value in the widest sense of these terms. Okay? So, I have here a question. So, how do these worldviews affect our social philosophy and our philosophy of education? Okay? Paano nga ba nakakaapekto itong mga iba't ibang mga perspektibo sa ating buhay? Okay, so in the first place, we deny the conception of educational objectives in relation only to the personal development or the self-realization. Okay, so with no end beyond that. Okay, so to have a mission and a vision, it's simply in terms of developing the integrated man simply as it is insufficient. Okay, so a true and a genuine philosophy of education must also extend to the social aims. Okay, ano nga ba itong mga social aims na ito? What lies beyond these social aims? We have the self-realization. Okay? We have the self-realization is not a possible if viewed outside of the social development. Okay? So, the answers would be man does not live in isolation, which is true. No man is an island. We are growing, okay? We are growing because of the help of the others. Okay? So to have a mission and a vision, this is very true that man should always have a mission and man always should have a vision in life. Okay, so next is educational objectives in relation only to personal development. Okay, so you have your own choices. Okay, you have your own freedom to choose what career or what is the development or growth would you mind to inculcate in yourself just to grow as a personal, grow as an individual, I should say. So next is the process of socialization is always value laden. So when we say value laden, it is the presupposing the acceptance of a particular set of values. So kahit saan ka mang magpunta, okay, kahit saan ka magpunta, there is a value laden. You learn something that is morally na makakatulong sa buhay mo. Okay? You learn from that experiences, then apply it. That's the really main or that's the really major that you will do. Okay? Kapag may natutunan ka, action agad. Mga ganon. Okay? So next is All education is values education, and all values education is society inclined. Okay, so our educational policies must aim at the specific personal and social values. Okay, so the values of justice, the values of love, the values of honesty, truth, freedom, and personhood. Those are the basic that we need to know. Okay, those the basic social values that we should have na meron dapat tayo. Okay, sabi nga nila, teaching the mind and touching the lives. Okay? That is very true. Okay? As a teacher for me, na it is true enough that if you teach the student and relating it to their current situation, then they would learn something that could change their life. They could really, really learn, and it made into a long-term memory. Matatandaan at matatandaan nila yun dahil they apply it to their self. And also with the thing, lahat ng mga natutunan nyo dapat is i-apply nyo sa sariling buhay ninyo. Hindi lang mag-i-stuck sa utak ninyo. Okay? But the really main thing here is the values that you will get from your education. That's the really biggest thing, or that's the most important thing that you should know. The values that you will get from education. Okay? So next is, in the third place, we need to take closer look at education and perform an educational re-engineering. Okay, so kung alam mo na may pagkakamali, kung alam mo na may mali sa ginagawa, then try to make some ratifications. Okay, so we have to remember that the integral and the holistic development is not just the education of the mind. It is also the education of the heart. Okay, so educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Okay? So, kung maalala nyo, si Mayor Gulani of New York City has advised his successor na govern New York with your heart. Okay? Teachers or educators are therefore duty-bound to be exemplars of what they teach. Okay? So, this is the really main thing. Okay? Na dito sa Pilipinas, and not only the Philippines but in the other countries, that they govern a certain country based on their personal interests. Okay? They did not govern the Philippines based by their heart. Makikita mo lang naman yan na concerned sila sa mga tao, concerned sila sa nangyayari sa mundo kapag panahon ng halalan, panahon ng elections. Makikita mo talaga na makamasa sila dahil kinakailangan nila ang boto mo para maging isang leader sila, and then they apply what they want. Hindi yung they apply what people needs. 'Di ba? So I encourage everyone, kung may mga magiging leaders man dito, govern your country with your heart. Okay? Kagaya ng sinabi nga ni Pia na I'm confidently beautiful with the heart. Okay? So, yun yung sinasabi din ng mga ibang tao, or yung sinasabi nung una pala, na just love is the maximum of justice, and justice is the minimum of love. And love is the maximum of law, and justice is the minimum of love. So those are the things that we need to remember and noted and should not be faded. Alright? So in fourth and final place, we affirm that personalization and socialization are two sides of a single process in education in life. So true enough that education is liberation. As Paulo Freire had said that education is for the practice of freedom. And the scope of this pursuit is nature, man, society, and the totality of man's relationship with this world as well as the beyond of this world. Okay? So, sinabi niya na education is one of the practice of freedom. While it's true that our basic needs or basic rights is in the Universal Declaration is education and also the food and shelter. Those are the basic needs that we need to know. Okay, so teachers are not just merely referees in the intellectual play field, but in the genuine sense. Okay, so next is, okay, so that ends our topic for today, and I hope that you learned something. Okay, stay safe and God bless. Thank you. Bye.